Hey everybody, we have got another practice test for adding, subtracting, and estimating. So I've got another McCain 4th video for you. So this is really close to what your test is going to look like as always. Here are your standards right here. It's about rounding, adding and subtracting multi-digit numbers, and also checking for reasonableness and estimating, which is actually an old standard, but one you should still know. So this first page you can see has 4 questions on it. In this box, you're going to solve. So solve means you are going to actually get the actual answer. This side, it says to estimate to check for reasonableness. So you'll get to estimate however you'd like. But here we go. I'm going to go ahead and do this with you. Take a look at number 1. 21,432 plus, box in the plus sign because you don't want to lose points because you accidentally did the wrong operation, plus 19,843. So I think to my song for addition, the first thing I do is add the ones. So 2 plus 3 equals 5. Then I go to the next place, the tens place. 3 plus 4 equals 7. And so far I have all 1-digit numbers, so I don't need to regroup yet. Hundreds place, 4 plus 8, that equals 12. So the number 12 looks like this. 2 is going to go in my hundred spot right here, and I'm going to regroup the 1 over to the thousands place. Then I can add the thousands place. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 1 more is 11. So 11 looks like this. I'm going to put this one in the thousands place and regroup my other one to the 10,000s place. And then I add 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. Put in your comma, 1, 2, 3, kick, and I get 41,275. To make sure that's correct, double check that on your calculator by typing in these 2 numbers and making sure you get that answer. So that's the first step. My next point comes from being able to estimate to check for reasonableness. Just like in life, it's not telling me which place to round to, so I get to decide on my own. For these problems, it doesn't say anything about looking for the best answer or the closest answer, so I'm just going to round in a way that's easiest for me to do the math in my head or on paper. So for that to happen, I'm going to need to round to the biggest place. So in both of these numbers, my biggest place is my 10,000s place, so that's where I round. So in the first number, I'll underline the 2 in the 10,000s place, circle the bossy neighbor to the right, say the phrase 4 or below, let the underline go. So my 2 stays the same. There's nothing to the left or right, so I start with just my 2. And then I'm already at the circle side, so everything changes to zeros. And I get 20,000 as my first rounded number. Now I have to do it for the second number. I'm going to underline the biggest place, the 10,000s place. There's a 1. Circle the bossy neighbor to the right. It's a 9. Say the phrase 5 or above, give the underline a shove. So this 1 is going to shove up to a 2. So 1 changes to 2. I'm at the circle side. It's 20,000. So when I'm estimating to check for reasonableness on here, what I do might not be what you did, and you could still have the right answer. I made a choice of what place I wanted to round to. You might have made a choice to round to a different place. As long as you rounded everything correctly and followed the rounding rules, and as long as you add or subtract okay, it doesn't matter if you get a different estimate than I do. So just know for these, I'll be rounding to the biggest place, but if you choose to do something else, you might still be right. You just chose to round to a different place, and that's okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and, remember I'm adding. Add 20,000 plus 20,000, which is super easy to do because all zeros, and then 2 plus 2 is 4, and I get 40,000. 40,000 is pretty close to 41,275, so I would say that's a reasonable answer, and I know I didn't make any mistakes on my solving part or my estimating part. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to number 2. Number 2, 325,689 minus 31,823. So make sure I am subtracting this time. And I'm going to use my subtraction poem to help me. So I'm looking in the ones, 9 minus 3, more on the top, no need to stop. 9 minus 3 equals 6. Now I will go to my next place, my tens place, 8 minus 2, again, more on the top, no need to stop, and 8 minus 2 equals 6. Now I'll go to my hundreds place, 6 minus 8. This time, more on the floor, go next door and get 10 more. So I'm going to go next door to my thousands place and cross out the 5. I'm taking a 10 away, so I'm going to change it to a 4. I'm adding 10 to my 6, so it becomes 16. And then I can go ahead and do 16 minus 8, because there's more on the top. That equals 8. Moving to my thousands place, 4 minus 1, more on the top, no need to stop, 3. Next place, 2 minus 3, this time, more on the floor, go next door and get 10 more. So I'm going to take 10 away and change the 3 to a 2, and add 10 to the 2, so it becomes a 12. Now I have 12 minus 3, more on the top, no need to stop, 9. 2 minus nothing equals 2. Put in my comma, 1, 2, 3, kick, 293,866. Check with your calculator to make sure you didn't make any mistakes. And then we're going to go ahead and estimate to check and see if it's reasonable. So once again, I'm going to just round to the biggest place because that's the easiest thing to do. So I'm going to look at my first number. I'm going to underline the 3 in the hundred thousands place, my biggest place, and circle the bossy neighbor, the 2 to the right. 2 is 4 or below, so I let the underline go. Don't get confused because we crossed it out and changed it to a 2 for when we were subtracting, but now that we're estimating the 3, we're letting it go. So I'm going to write a 3, and then I'm at my circle side, so it becomes zeros to get 300,000. Now in my second number, my biggest place isn't the hundred thousands place because it's a smaller number. This time my biggest place is my 10,000s place. So I'm going to underline the 3 in the 10,000s place, circle the bossy neighbor, the 1 to the right, and 4 or below, let the underline go. So the 3 is going to stay the same. I just have to make sure when I'm subtracting, I put the 3 with my 10,000s place. So I'm subtracting everything in the correct place. So I have 300,000 minus 30,000. Don't accidentally add. And then nice and easy to subtract. Oh, until I get to here, 0 minus 3, more on the floor. So I need to go next door and get 10 more. Change the 3 to a 2. Change the 0 to a 10. 10 minus 3 equals 7. And then 2 minus nothing is 2. So I get an answer of 270,000. I can see that it's pretty close to my actual answer of 293,866. I could use my calculator if I wanted to see the difference and how close that answer actually is. Your secret word is banjo. B-A-N-J-O. All right, let's look at number 3. 380,002 minus 52,537. Make sure you box in your minus sign so you know the operation that you are doing. And I'm going to start in the ones and use my subtraction poem. 2 minus 7, more on the floor. Go next door and get 10 more. But when I go next door, I have a 0 next door, so I can't get 10 more. So I have to go to the next place. If I do that, I have another 0, so I can't get 10 more from there. So I go to the next place. My thousands place is another 0, so I have to keep going to the 10,000s place where finally I underline an 8. So this is what my box is going to be around, 8000. I'm going to start by crossing out the 8 and taking 1 away, so it becomes a 7. All of my zeros inside the box change to 9s. And then my 2 outside the box is what I'm adding to get more on the top. So I'm going to add 10 to get 12. So 12 minus 7, more on the top, no need to stop, is 5. 9 minus 3, more on the top, no need to stop, 6. 9 minus 5, more on the top, no need to stop, 4. 9 minus 2, more on the top, no need to stop, 7. 7 minus 5, more on the top, no need to stop, 2. And finally, 3 minus nothing is 3. Put in my comma, 1, 2, 3, kick, to get 327,465. And make sure you check that on your calculator to make sure you got the same answer and you didn't make a mistake anywhere. Now we're going to estimate to check to see if our answer is reasonable. Once again, to make the problem the easiest to do, I'm going to round to the biggest place. And my first number, my biggest place, is my 100,000ths place again. So I'm going to underline the 3 in the 100,000ths place, circle my 8, say the phrase, 5 or above, give the underline a shove. So 3 shoves up to a 4. Everything else changes to zeros, so I have 400,000. And my next number, my biggest place, is the 10,000ths place. So I'm going to underline the 5 in the 10,000ths place, circle the 2, the bossy neighbor to the right, say the phrase, 4 or below, let the underline go. So 5 stays the same. Now pay attention, it's in the 10,000ths place, so I have to line it up in my 10,000ths place under my number. Everything else changes to zeros, so I have 50,000. Make sure you're remembering to subtract, so box in that sign. And it's really easy, bunches of zeros, until I get to 0 minus 5, where there's more on the floor. So I'm going to go next door, get 10 more from the 4, and change it to a 3. Add 10 to my 0, change it to a 10. Then I have 10 minus 5, more on the top, no need to stop, I get 5. 3 minus nothing equals 3. So I get an estimate of 350,000, which is kind of close to 327,465. So it seems reasonable. You can use your calculator to check the difference if you'd like to see just how close you got. And now we're going to look at number 4. Number 4 is 38,392 plus 3,856. Box in your plus sign. We have to switch our brain now from thinking of our subtraction poem and our box trick to thinking about our chant. We know addition with regrouping starts with add the ones. Add the ones, add the ones, add the ones. So the ones are 2 plus 6, I get 8. I do not need to regroup here because I have a 1-digit number. If I go to my tens, I get 9 plus 5. That equals 14. That number looks like this. So I'm going to have to regroup. I'm going to put my 4 in the tens place and regroup my ones to the hundreds place. Then I have to add 3 plus 8, which equals 11, plus 1 more equals 12. 12 looks like this. So I'm going to put my 2 here and regroup the 1 to the thousands place. Now I have 8 plus 3, which equals 11 again, plus 1 more is 12 again, which looks like this, 12. So I put my 2 here and regroup my 1 to the 10,000ths place, where I have 3 plus nothing plus 1, and I get 4. Put in my comma, 1, 2, 3, kick, and I get 42,248. Now I just need to estimate to check to see if my answer is reasonable. I'm going to round to the biggest place to make it the easiest to do in my head. So if I underline the 3 in the 10,000ths place, circle the 8 in the thousands place, say the phrase 5 or above, give the underline a shove. 3 shoves up to a 4. Then I change the circle side to zeros, so everything becomes zeros, and I get 40,000. And then I'm going to round this next number. The biggest place is the thousands place, so I'll underline the 3, circle the bossy neighbor to the right, and 8, 5 or above, give the underline a shove. 3 is going to shove up to a 4, so I get 4,000. I have to make sure I put my 4 in the correct place, so it's lined up right. And then don't forget your adding. So zeros, nice and easy. 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 plus nothing is 4. and I get 44,000. If I compare that to my actual answer of 42,248, I can see that I am pretty close. Okay, on the back we have 2 word problems. Let's start with number 5. Hilda spent $8.26 at the candy store. She paid with a $100 bill. What will her change be? Bracket the question. We know change is a hint word for subtraction, so I'm going to put a minus sign there. We have Hilda spent, another word, hint word for subtraction, so we know we're in good shape. $8.26, and then $100 bill. So I need to take this $100 bill and put it in standard form. So it would be $100, and that means she didn't pay in any cents. She had no coins. So I'm going to put $100.00. I know I'm subtracting, so, oops, dropped my pen. $100 is my bigger number. $8.26 is my smaller number. So nice and neatly, I'm going to go ahead and set up my problem. $100.00 minus $8.26. Put my subtraction sign. And then I'm going to start in my hundredths place. Since I'm dealing with money, I'm going to go all the way here. I have 0 minus 6. There is more on the floor. So that means I need to go next door and get 10 more. But when I go next door, I have a 0, so there's nothing to borrow. So I'm going to go to my next place, my ones place, another 0. Keep going to my next place, my tens place, another 0. So I'm going to go to my next place, my hundreds place, and finally I have a 1. So in my box, I should have 1, 0, 0, my decimal point, and 0. So this 1 here, I'm changing, I'm taking a 10 away, it becomes a 0. All of my zeros inside the box become 9s, and my 0 outside the box, where I'm regrouping to get more on the top, I need to add 10, and it becomes 10. Now I can subtract 10 minus 6, more on the top, no need to stop, 4. 9 minus 2, more on the top, no need to stop, 7. Put your decimal point in. 9 minus 8, more on the top, no need to stop, 1. Then I have 9 minus nothing, which is 9. And the 0 minus nothing is 0, and there's no numbers that come before that. So I don't need to put that 0. I can just put my dollar sign. And I get $91.74. Make sure you check your work on your calculator to make sure you didn't make any mistakes, and then you're going to write your complete sentence answer. The question asks, what will her change be? So your answer should say, Hilda's change will be $91.74, period. Want some bonus money? Draw some music notes next to your secret word. Your next word problem is multiple choice. Number 6. The farmer planted 2,837 seeds in the first field and 1,238 seeds in the second field. Bracket your question. What is the best estimate for the total number of seeds he planted? So I know I have to get an estimate, and it says best estimate, which means it's going to be the answer that's closest to the actual answer. And also it says the total number of seeds, which is a hint word for addition. So I know I'm going to be adding here. So here's one part I'm adding. Here's my other part that I'm adding. And I know that I have to get an estimate, so that means I need to round. But I know these multiple choice problems sometimes try to trick me. So I'm going to get the actual answer first, then I'll start experimenting with estimating a little bit to get the best answer. So for the actual answer, I'm going to do 2,837 plus 1,238. If I add those together, add the ones, 7 plus 8 equals 15. Regroup the ones to a 10. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. Go to my hundreds place, 8 plus 2 is 10. 0, regroup the 1 to the next place. Then 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. So this here, 4,075, is my actual answer. So I'm gonna put a box around this, and I'm even gonna write actual. I know it doesn't want my actual answer, so I'm not surprised that 4,075 is not a choice on my list, because remember, the problem says we're getting an estimate. So this will just help me decide which estimate is the best estimate. So just from looking at these choices, I'm seeing that 4,000 is pretty close to 4,075. So it could be this. 4,080 is also pretty close to 4,075, so it could be that. 5,000 seeds though and 2,000 seeds are kind of far away. So I'm guessing it's probably gonna be B or C. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna experiment with my estimate. And I'm going to start off by rounding to the biggest place. So if I do that, if I underline the 2 in the thousands place, circle the 8 in the hundreds place, say the phrase 5 or above, give the underline a shove, this is gonna round to 3,000. For my next number, if I underline the 1 in the biggest place, the thousands place, and circle the 2 in the hundreds place, say the phrase 4 or below, let the underline go, it rounds to 1,000. I'm adding 0, 0, 0, 3 plus 1 equals 4 to get 4,000. That is one of my choices. So it could be 4,000. But remember, I need to get the best estimate. That means the closest estimate to the actual answer. So this could be my answer, but I know that the way to get a better estimate would be to round to the next biggest place and see if I can get closer. So let's try that. And this time let's round to the hundreds place. So if I do that, if I underline the 8 in the hundreds place, circle the 3 in the tens place, say the phrase 4 or below, let the underline go. The 8's gonna stay the same. My 2 stays, my 8 stays, everything else changes to zeros to get 2,800. If I round to the next biggest place in my next number, I underline the 2, circle the 3 to the right, 4 or below, let the underline go. So I get 1,200. And if I add those together, 0, 0, 8 plus 2 is 10. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. Ooh, I get 4,000. That's also on my list. So I might be thinking 2 of them are 4,000. It's probably gonna be B. But I can still round to the next biggest place to see if I can get my answer even closer. So I'm gonna try to do that by this time rounding to the tens place. So I'm gonna underline the 3 in the tens place, circle the bossy neighbor, the 7 in the ones place, say the phrase 5 or above, give the underline a shove. So the 3 is gonna shove up to a 4. So 2 stays the same, 8 stays the same, shove the 3 up to a 4, circle side changes to zeros. So I get 2,840. I have even more numbers to do. So I know my math is gonna get a little bit harder here. Let's do it for the next number. Underline the 3 in the tens place, circle the 8 in, which is the bossy neighbor to the right, in the ones place. Say the phrase 5 or above, give the underline a shove. So 3 shoves up to a 4. Left side stays the same, 1,204, and then my 8 becomes a 0. And I'm gonna add one more time. 0 plus 0 is 0, 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 2 equals 10, regroup the 1, 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4, and I get 4,080 seeds. Uh-oh, that is C. So I can estimate to every place and my answer appears, and it could be B or C. There is one answer that is better. If you're not sure which one is closer, pull out your calculator and start finding the difference between the actual answer and the estimated answer. So what I'm going to do for this, my actual answer is 4,075. My estimated answer is 4,000. So I'm going to put the bigger number minus the smaller number, you can just do that in your calculator. You don't have to do the actual work, but you're gonna get the difference is 75. So I'm gonna write D equals 75 right here. That's my difference. This number is the same, so I don't need to do the math again. I know the difference here is gonna equal 75, so I'm good with that. So 75 isn't far off, but I can see if this number is actually closer to 4,075. But this time, my bigger number is 4,080, and my smaller number is 4,075. You can use a calculator to subtract that, and you're gonna get a difference that equals 5. So a difference of 5 is way, way closer than a difference of 75. So even though it looked like 4,000 was gonna be our answer for a while, it's actually not. Our best estimate is the letter C. So don't get tricked on problems like that. Do all the work to make sure you get the best estimate. Good luck on your test tomorrow. Work hard and do awesome.